When you get an opportunity to ask questions, to ask, hey, is there anything about me as a candidate for this role that you're unsure of or think that I maybe didn't answer as clearly as possible?
Hello and welcome to my channel. My name is Maurice, and on my channel I help students and young professionals kickstart their career in product management. And today we're in this beautiful city of Zurich. In today's video I'm gonna interview Boris, a good friend of mine from Berlin, who works as a technical product manager in Berlin and is actually soon transitioning into a new PM role based from London. Let's get started. And today I'm super excited to interview my good friend from Berlin, Boris. Tell us a bit more about your context, your story. So you transition into product management by building your own thing first and then landing a job at a startup. So how did you get your PM job at a startup? Like, what is your story here?
My story starts, I studied engineering as an undergrad, and near the end of my degree I stumbled into a problem which I turned into a startup. I would genuinely advise people that if you're looking to kind of start your own thing as a way to get into PM, I would totally suggest looking for something during your undergraduate experience or even in your postgrad experience and trying to build something for users you really understand or can empathize with really well. Because, you know, if you can access them very easily and you can understand the problem to a really, really niche level and develop a really, really clear understanding of what the problem actually is rather than which technology you can use to solve it, that's kind of what a PM does, right? It's exactly about the what and not really about the how.
What was, during this process, your aha moment where you realized, I really love trying to analyze problems and then solving solutions for these problems?
So I worked on something that was student financing related in South Africa, where I grew up. Pretty much the problem that I was solving was that there were a lot of people who were not able to access traditional student loans. And so we used income share agreements to essentially offer them financing, which had various benefits for various reasons. What made me really enjoy or realize that I enjoyed doing product work, I didn't really know it was product work at the time, but it's the ability to empathize with users and really understand and dig into people's problems. Really understand exactly what the problem is and focusing on that and understanding why that is and empathizing. That's, I think, for me, what being as a PM about and what I really enjoy about the role.
You had this experience of building your own thing, building your own startup, and then how did you use this experience then to eventually land a PM job in a Berlin-based startup?
Yeah, so like you said, I went on to do my master's in computer science and entrepreneurship. And I really tried to leverage a lot of what I had learned in my own co-founding experience to find a product job. And particularly, I realized targeting early stage startups was what I wanted to do. And I think for getting an early stage startup job, it's really about, as quickly as possible, showing and proving that you can deliver value. So get hands-on as quickly as possible. And the way you can do that already early on in the interview process is to honestly just research out of the company, whether that's identifying, you know, a new market they may want to go into and pitching this in your interview. Come in with ideas, come in with energy, and deliver value before you even start. And I think that really helps you get the job.
How did you think about choosing, first of all, what stage the startup is in? And then also in the second step, how did you choose like this type of company you want to work in?
I was really looking for early stage startups. Because ultimately this gives you an ability to tackle a much wider scope at an earlier stage in your career and also interact with some really, really senior individuals directly, which you might not get the opportunity to do at a big company. I specifically looked for seed or just hitting Series A startups because this tends to be when they kind of de-risk a lot and are poised for the kind of the first area of growth once they've hit theoretically product market fit, which VCs funded these companies because ultimately the best VCs get the first choice of who they're going to fund, and so it's a really good way to find where are high quality teams with really A+ players.
Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. Makes a lot of sense. In the last video we also talked about how Ellie landed a job at Google as an associate product manager, and there she talked about these 7 steps, so it's a very long process. I think it differs quite a bit from early stage startup. Can you tell us a bit more about what was the interview process like?
Sure. So yeah, like you said, it's often a lot more short as a process and it's a lot less formalized.
How many like different interviews did you have in the end, and like how long did this whole process actually take once you got your first offer?
Often 3 to 4 rounds. Often there is a case study. I think it's becoming a trend to do more and more of a case study, and I think it's actually a great opportunity, particularly if you're kind of early in your career, to really put a lot of time into the case study, because seasoned professionals sometimes don't actually have the time to do this, and so it's really use that to your advantage and deliver as much value as you can there. This can take 1 to 2 months, but generally the faster the interview process is, that's a good factor, because it means the startup moves quickly, they're confident in you, they like you. If they're taking a long time to decide, that's probably not a great sign.
Awesome, super interesting. What is your final interview tip that you would give people?
At the end of the interview, when you get an opportunity to ask questions, to ask, hey, is there anything about me as a candidate for this role that you're unsure of, or think that I maybe didn't answer as clearly as possible? Because it gives them right there and then the opportunity to kind of clarify any uncertainties they have about you and see whether you're the right fit. And if you've miscommunicated or they've misunderstood something about something you said earlier, you can address it right there and then, so that you really end the interview off in a very self-conscious way and a positive way, to show that you're trying to help them also de-risk you as a candidate.
Thank you so much for watching. I would highly appreciate if you subscribe, if you leave a thumbs up, and leave a comment if you have any question for today's video. See you next time.